Hi again, guys. I'm back. All right, so it is reading time. You'll need your reading hardback and you'll need your reading workbook, but just put them in front of you. No need to open them up yet because I'm going to read you a story from our Read Aloud. It's called Luck by Jean Craighead George, and the genre is fiction, so it is a made-up story. A young sandhill crane spread his 6-foot wings and flew away. "Goodbye, Luck!" cried the girl who had set him free. "That's not his name," said a bird watcher. "In Asia, where I come from, a crane is called Love." "Love is a beautiful name," said the girl, "but any bird that sticks his head in a plastic six-pack holder is going to need more luck than love." Once freed, Luck trilled to his parents. "Cracar! Cracar!" his parents trumpeted from the sky. The young crane spiraled up to meet them. Together they circled the Texas marsh. It was March. Luck's parents were preparing for their long migration north to their nesting grounds. They were memorizing the reeds and waters of their winter home for their return in autumn. But Luck was memorizing the blue sunglasses on the face of the girl who had saved his life. To Luck, she had become home. Luck and his parents soared across the Texas border, memorizing the hills and rivers below. Above Cherokee, Oklahoma, hundreds of cranes from Mexico joined them. Luck circled a windmill. By the time he had memorized, his parents were far ahead. "Cracar! Cracar!" Luck trilled over and over. "Cracar! Cracar!" his parents' voices. Their red crowns caught his eye. Luck caught up with them over a shopping mall in Kansas. His parents memorized the cornfields around the mall. Luck memorized a baby carriage. 10,000 more cranes joined Luck and his parents above the wetlands of Cheyenne Bottoms in Kansas. They came from Mexico, Louisiana, Nevada, and Arizona. Some had flown in from Florida. There were young cranes like Luck with no red caps and old cranes all headed north. They formed a 10-mile line, 3 miles wide. That would be a lot of them. Luck looked down on Route 70 in Kansas and memorized a pack of motorcycles. Suddenly a storm struck, and the cranes were blown far off course. When the storm was over, Luck memorized a boy in a canoe on the Little Blue River. The old crane steered the young back to Route 183 in northern Kansas and then on to Nebraska. In the distance, like a star on the horizon, the Platte River shone silver gold. When Luck saw the river, he called out, "Cracar!" There's a picture. At 500,000 cranes joined in, their voices like wind trumpets swelling to a choir and then to a symphony. The children in the schoolyards in Kearney, Nebraska, heard the symphony and stopped playing games. "Here come the cranes!" they shouted. "Spring is here!" Farmers heard the ancient voices and readied their tractors for plowing. Bird watchers saw them and cheered. Photographers snapped pictures. Luck soared, dipped, and glided. He made designs in the sky with the other cranes. Somehow he remembered the river, although he had never been there before. It was an old memory, about 20 million years old. Luck let down his long legs, cupped his wings, bowed his tail, and gracefully parachuted into the waters of the Platte River. "Cracar!" Luck called. Trumpeted the cranes around him. He heard no cracars from his parents. "Cracar!" he called again. Luck was lost. He waded slowly and deliberately into the shallow river and then stood still. Thousands of cranes gathered around him, trumpeting and flapping. The sun set, night came. Luck called for his parents once more. No answer. Tired from his long flight, he tucked his beak into his back feathers, stood on one leg, and slept. The sun came up. The cranes flew and came down in a cornfield. Luck was hungry. He fed on fallen kernels of corn and soybeans from last autumn's harvest. He chased bugs and ate them. At dusk, Luck and the thousands of cranes flew back to the spot where he had slept. Luck's space was taken by two Hackers. Their wings hit him. Their beaks struck at him. He jumped up, spread his wings, and hung above the cranes like a kite. Then a gentle wind carried him upriver. Krakar! Luck's voice was changing. It was deep. Would his parents recognize his new voice? Krakar! They knew him. Luck parachuted down. His parents jumped in the air, throwing back their heads. They all danced for joy. For almost 2 weeks, Luck and his parents and 500,000 other cranes flew from the river to the fields and from the fields to the river. Then they were gone. The children went back to their games. By the time the farmers were tilling the soil, Luck and all the sandhill cranes were far north. A few went to Wyoming and on west. Others winged north into Canada. Some went to Manitoba and Saskatchewan. Some flew on to the Hudson Bay. Luck and his parents went straight up the Rocky Mountain chain to Alaska. There were no roads with malls and baby carriages, so Luck memorized the snow-capped mountains of the Brooks Range. The three cranes flew into a dense fog over the Bering Strait. They followed the angle of the sun's rays as their ancestors had done. Luck memorized the sound of foghorns on ships. In Siberia, Luck was back where he had been born. His parents started a new family. Luck flew west. He winged over a marsh. Below, a female crane was calling for a mate. Luck parachuted to her side. He bowed. She bowed back. It was June. By the end of the summer, they were a pair. Her name was Wise. Luck and Wise danced and composed their own song. Car, car. This song would keep them together for as long as they lived. Notice that each crane's family has a different sound. So now he's not doing the krakar, he's doing the car. In late August, Luck and Wise flew back across the Bering Strait. Luck heard no foghorns. He was lost again. Wise was not lost. She recalled the angle of the sun's rays and bugled car. Luck followed the song. So when they're migrating, do you notice how Luck was memorizing things that actually could move, like baby carriages and foghorns and people? He wasn't memorizing places like the others were. So that's why he's not being able to find his way back, and Wise is, because she memorized things that she was supposed to memorize, things that don't move. So now Luck just has to follow along with Wise. When they came to the snow-covered Alaskan peaks, Luck brought them down into the tundra wetlands to sleep. By day, he led them across Canada and then the Dakotas. Then Luck saw the Platte River, but it was sleeping until spring. Luck and Wise kept flying south. Over Kansas, Luck turned east to find the boy and the canoe. Wise did not follow. She came down to rest in the reeds in the Cheyenne bottoms. Car! Luck called for her. No answer. He was lost again. He flew west, looking for a baby carriage. But no baby carriage was to be found. Above Route 70, a flock of motorcycles appeared. He remembered and followed them to Route 183 and on to Route 283. There stood the windmill. Now he truly knew where he was, and he flew straight to the Texas marsh and looked for his home, the girl with the blue glasses who had saved his life. She was not there. He kept flying. A plastic six-pack holder glistened in the reeds below. Luck flew to it. The bird watcher was on the boardwalk. Beside him stood the girl. She was not wearing her blue sunglasses. No, no, no! The girl shouted and waded into the water. She frightened Luck. He flapped to a grassy slope and landed, pointing his beak skyward. Car! Wise dropped down beside him. They lifted their wings and leaped high in the air. He wasn't lost anymore. The girl picked up the plastic six-pack holder and smiled as the cranes danced. Luck, she called to the graceful bird. I've just changed your name to Love. Car, car. The cranes told her their real names and went on dancing. So there they are, Luck and Wise. All right, so I hope he learned a lesson to memorize things that are actually not going to move, right? Okay, let's turn to page 118 in our hardbacks. Page 118 in our hardbacks. So these are going to be our new vocab words. Mexican folk tales. Many Mexican folk tales have animal characters such as coyotes and rabbits. Here are 3 stories. One night, when the moon was full, Coyote met Rabbit by a pond. Rabbit suggested that Coyote swim out to eat an enormous circle of cheese floating in the pond. Coyote discovered that the cheese was really the reflection of the moon. "You tricked me," Coyote exclaimed. Rabbit tricked Coyote again. Coyote chased Rabbit, but Swift Rabbit raced to the moon where he was safe. Coyote was angry and howled at the moon. He still howls at the moon sometimes. So remember, folk tales tell us how something came to be. This is telling us how why coyotes howl at the moon in the middle of the night. But it's a folk tale, right? All right. Let's go to the next story. Cuckoo was very vain and loved her beautiful feathers. One day she overheard Owl tell all the birds to select seeds. That night there was a fire. Cuckoo put out the fire and saved the seeds, but the fire damaged her feathers. She had nothing to be vain about anymore. And there's a picture. Okay. All right, let's go. You can put that down. Let's go over our words. Let me get this paper, and I need to erase my board so you can see the paper. All right, so I'm going to hold up the paper. These are your words, okay? All right, you can pause the video and write your words down so that you know them. We're not going to do anything with them as far as sentences because we don't do homework. All right, so let's look at number 1. Swift. Something that is swift moves very quickly. Okay, so swift, very quickly. So you could move swiftly across the room, right? If you did it very quickly. Number 2, vain. If you are vain, you think very highly of yourself. So vain people tend to brag about themselves. Okay. Number 3, overheard. If you overheard what people said, you heard it without them knowing you were listening. So sometimes we overhear things that we're not supposed to hear, like maybe mom and dad talking or things like that, or your sister talking to her friends or brother. Okay, so we've overheard something. It means you weren't the one that was supposed to hear it. You just heard people talking about it. Number 4, suggested. If you suggested something, you gave someone an idea. Okay, so I'm sure you suggested lots of things. Maybe you suggest to your mom or dad what you'd like to eat for dinner. Number 5, enormous. Something that is enormous is very big. Okay, like our earth is enormous. It's huge. Number 6, exclaimed. If you exclaimed something, you said it excitedly. Okay, so I'm sure you've exclaimed lots of things, like maybe you are excited about going to Knoebels or things like that. Okay, all right, so there are your words again. All right, you can pause the video when we get to our workbook page, because that way you'll be able to see what the words mean if you forget. Now, I do not have, for some reason, the book that I brought home with me is missing pages 159 and 160, and we need to do page 160. So I'm not going to be able to show it to you. You go to page 160, okay, and you need to do that page, okay? So again, I can't show you what it is, and I can't go over it with you, but I'm pretty sure it always is going to be about your vocab words, okay? So do page 160 and then send me a picture of it, okay? All right, if you have any questions, let me know. Again, here are your words if you need to pause the video and use them for your workbook page. Okay, guys, have a great day. Well, I'll see you soon in a little while. Bye.